Hello and welcome to another Pet of Exile video. It has been a while again. So the Mayhem event starts in about 2 hours and a half, I think, for me. So it's very soon. I'm late again, sorry for that. So I am in fact planning to play. This is the first time actually I'm planning to play with a duo partner as well. Now with that being said though, we're probably going to be soloing until we're like level 90 or something like that. So probably for the first 2 days or something, we will be playing solo. So just advancing our Atlas and stuff like that. And then endgame, we'll transition into our group play builds. So for Leaguestart, I'm planning to start as an Inquisitor Stormbrander. And then eventually, late game, probably high 80s or level 90 or something, I'll transition to EK just to farm maps a bit faster. As for my duo partner, he will probably be leveling a Guardian, and he will level with SRS and Spectres, so the Summoner. And then later he will be an Aura bot as a Guardian, so this is more a defensive option rather than an offensive option. So we will be trying to get a demigod, at least for one of us. I think as Inquisitor I have more chance than him as a Guardian, because I believe most groups have Guardians as support, so probably be pretty hard to get a top 5 in that. Inquisitor, maybe if we play a lot, we get a bit lucky, could end up happening. Would be nice to get one, but definitely not a priority. So as for my plans, I'm gonna start some battle building prepared here. Now mind you, this battle building, it's not like picture perfect, it's just pretty standard basic Stormbrand build. So as for the EK one as well, I'll show you after this. Obviously you can make changes where you see fit. You can always go PoE Ninja and check what other people are doing. Maybe you want to switch things around. This is just what I came up with. I probably will make a couple changes while I'm playing it, but pretty standard. So you start Templar, bat through daily nodes, pick up this life. The AoE is mainly for Orb of Storm, so I think once I go Brands I might drop these nodes. Pick up these nodes, some nice damage, and then we go Elemental Overload. This is very nice early on, since you do have a little bit of crit, but you don't have any crit multi. So with this you just get 40% more elemental damage for 8 seconds every time you crit, so it's definitely very nice damage. After that, think of early V2, so I want to make my way to Runebinder. This is when you just fully convert to brands. So yeah, you use Stormbrand at that point. Then you pick up these nodes here, some additional brands and stuff like that, get some damage, get some life. Mind you as well life, so you have some extra life nodes. You can pick up this life here. If you pat through here, you get these life nodes. You have these life nodes. You have these life nodes. So usually what I do with life is I'm padding through like near it, but I don't pick it up until I need it. So if you find yourself dying a lot, maybe spec into a couple life nodes here and there, you have a lot available to you, even this one as well. So that's up to you. Mid game, so I'm not quite sure at this point yet, because if you have Ixom Scepters, you could just drop Elemental Overload and start picking these crit nodes, I mean this here, so you can start picking up a lot of crit nodes, but I planned the fact that I won't have those Scepters and my crit chance would still be low at this point. So I think I will just pad here, get this mana and spell damage, and then pick up all these brand nodes over here. And then transition to crit, so it's up to you what you want to do rather. But this is how the late tree would look like for something like me. Now mind you, with spellcasters at the top side of the tree, it's roughly the same paths. You usually want to go Templar area, Witch area, and Assassin area. Now I kind of cut out most of the Assassin area, but that's also a viable option. Since I do pick up this, and I want to take shield nodes to go for block, so I have all these shield nodes. I have these shield nodes here, and then I'm also going to take glancing blows. Now you could drop all the shield stuff, so you could drop these 3 points, 4 here and 4 here, and then you could even do something like padding through here instead of the top side. If you pad through here, you can get all this assassin like life and crit here, some more life here, and you can even make your way all the way to phase acro and acro and go dodge instead of block. So there's a lot of options you can do. This is just my tree I came up with for starting out. If I need to make changes, I'll let you know. You have not that much life actually from this tree, so maybe you'll need to take some extra life. I mean, there's a point right here, 134%. It's decent, but it's not that great. This is only like level 93, I think, 91 if you take Alira for bandits. Right, level 91. So it's a decent level 3. Now these nodes as well, you can probably drop these. I'm only gonna take this if I can fit 2 Heralds and Zealotry. It's gonna be an Aura for Stormbrand. But if 2 Heralds and Zealotry don't work out too great, I might drop a Herald and then I can just drop these 4 points to have some more room to work with. here as well. You could maybe pad through these instead of these, but I want the cooldown recovery to map a bit faster. So there's quite a few things. As for the jewels, so you just want life and crit multi ideally. If you can't get crit multi, stuff like gas speed will help. Just regular damage like spell damage, lightning damage, stuff like that. Just try as much as you can. But the life, especially on jewels, will help to get you to a nice amount. You also have a 3-point jewel here that you can take if you get higher level. So that's mainly the 3. I think I put some notes as well, which skills to level by. So Stormblast, my Swift Assembly. Now Templar does not get Swift Assembly, so you would need to make a Shadow and do the Tidal Iron quest to get to this. But it's not that big a deal. I might just skip this because I don't like muling, even though it could be worth it. It's too much effort for me. Then you just level Orb of Storm, Onslaught, Frostbloom, Frostbane Arcane. So it's pretty standard spellcaster leveling. You do this on pretty much every character, not the top side of the 3. And then level 12 you can start using Stormbrand, and from there you can see. Now I put the endgame gems roughly here. A lot of these you can like swift around. So for Stormbrand, this is the 4 link, Swiftbrand, Alley Focus, and Lightning Stormbrand. The 5th link you can put either Conk Effect, Control Destruction, or some other damage link, maybe Hypothermia or something like that. So it's up to you what you want to do there. And then Inspiration would probably be the 6th link. And I put a lot of other quality of life gems here. Now, mind you, this is more gems than you can fit in your gear, so you probably drop something. So it's up to you what you drop. Maybe you drop the Cast on Damage Taken setup. Maybe you drop the Way of Conviction with Curse on Hit setup. You drop the Hex Touch, for example. Maybe you don't want a Shield Shard, so you can just drop this whole section here. So it's up to you what you do, but these are just the main gems people use. So that's the Stormbrander. Now I'll play this again until I have my Atlas set up probably. Maybe even map with it later, who knows if it feels good, but most likely I will transition into, save this, into Inquisitor EK. So this is what I prepare for my EK character. Again, this has a bit more life, 157%, that's pretty decent, I'd say, especially with this setup we have. So this is, again, only a very low level 3, since we can do a lot of things from this point. This is just what I want to start with. So mainly crit and life nodes, pretty standard 3 again. We have a Thread of Hope here. Now this might be hard to get, because I don't know how many people will go for Cyrus. So if this is too expensive, I might just pad through here and take these nodes. So I'd spend quite a few points there. But if you have a Thread of Hope here, it's very nice, since you get all this Physics extra, which is skills or damage a lot. Then just life. Ring of Blades, don't forget this if you're playing EK. Here probably again just a life multi-jewel. Picked up these nodes. Here again just probably a life multi-jewel, or you can maybe try something with Glorious Vanity with Doriani, so you get some extra ES from that. Again multi-life, multi is pretty much it. Then here I'm gonna try for the Inspired Learning. Again, this might be a bit expensive, so if I can't get this, probably just drop these 2 nodes and these 2 nodes, and then just be like this, have extra points to work with, which is probably what I'll do until I get an Inspired Learning. But once I do get one, you want to run that. And then the extra points, now we have a few options. I can either, again, go for these 4 shield nodes here, and the shield nodes here, and probably pick up Glancing Blows as well, to get some defenses that way. Or I might just use the points here to get Acro, Phase Acro. So I haven't decided yet what I'll do, but you have quite a lot of points to work with. You can also look into maybe just getting a cluster, so you could just pad here to get a cluster. Or if you do go for Phase Acro, you can also use this one to get a cluster, which is projectile damage instead of the mana, which is probably better. So it's up to you what you do there. This is more just a guideline build. I also put some gear in here of stuff that you kind of want to get. Now, most of the gear I just wrote what you want to get. So if you're here, just damage, spell damage, Physics extra, LES chaos, crit multi, spell crit, you want on a wand. A shield, again, you'll see most of the gear I went for ES based gear, since I'm gonna be playing with a Guardian support who gives a lot of ES, so it's nice to have quite a decent amount of base ES as well. But I will also be life, so it's pretty much a hybrid build, I'd say. Again, the shield you just want life, +1 phase gems would be good for EK, and then just some damage mods, so spell crit, crit multi, spell damage, and then a resist that you're missing, of course. The helm, just a helm with high life and resist. Ideally, if you can get also the enchant for +30% projectile speeds for EK would be pretty nice, but not mandatory, and probably pretty hard to get in these races, because I don't think a lot of people will be running Lab. Crown of the Inward Eye, again, a very good option as well, but that will probably take a while to really get, since, again, I don't know how many people will be killing Cyrus. And Pulsas, probably best in slot. I don't know how hard this is going to be to get, hopefully attainable. Now the upgrade from this would be a rare chest with Explode, but I think that will be even harder than in Impulsa, so probably we'll just sell for Impulsa if we can get one. The gloves, now you can either use Hirim Sorrow, the unique ones, which is probably what I'll go with, since they'll be a lot cheaper. But if you can get 50% conversion gloves, that would be amazing, because then you can also get life and resist on them. For the boots, so MS, of course, life, resist, and then I might get Pierce on my boots, since you can get Pierce on boots. Now, if I don't use Pierce on boots, I need to use Pierce as a skill gem, so it's up to that. Tailwind, I put it there, but honestly, you probably won't get Tailwind boots with all the rest on there, since they're pretty hard to craft nowadays. Amulet, just crit multi. You can go for either +1 dex gems or +1 fist gems, or even both. I mean, but that's probably going to be very expensive. Life, energy shields, depends what you want to be based as, but probably just life. Unique options, you could go for Yoke of Suffering, but honestly it's probably going to be way too expensive, and it's only really worth it if you have a lot of ailments. I'd even say you probably want to look into using Brittle, Scourge, the ailments like that. So that will be a bit hard to fit in, but I'd just go for a rare amulet, honestly. For readings, I'd probably use Double Call of the Brotherhood, unless if for the gloves you use Hirim Sorrow, maybe you just use one Call of the Brotherhood, and then the other ring just life and resist. The belt, now I put the crystal belt here, but you probably just use a leather belt, honestly, for more life, and then just life and resist on your belt, nothing else. Flasks, Diamond Flask, Quicksilver, Taste of Hate, and Azir's Promise are your 4 standard flasks. Then face tag, a Cinder Swallow would be nice, but again, this might take a while to be available on the market, so maybe just another rare flask or a life flask if you prefer using that, so you can fit in whatever. Ideally now, late game as well, you want to get it, if you could get a Ball of Fate, but this will be extremely hard to get, since of course you need to do Cortex for this, so it'd be very expensive. But you can either drop your last flask or the diamond flask for the Cinder Swallow. If you have a lot of crit, you can just drop the diamond for that, because this gives, sorry, for the Ball of Fate, because this gives you a lot of crit chances as well. Jewels, so I already talked about this, but just life and crit multi will be your remaining jewels. So that's pretty much the build. Oh, sorry, Ascendancy. So for this, I'm just gonna take this, so you don't need any pen. And then Pious Path for Calm Ground, and you're also immune to ailments, which reminds me actually for the flasks, you definitely want to get bleed removal on either of these, or you can get Corrupting Blood can be inflicted on you on your Ring of Blades, which is pretty doable since this is a very cheap jewel. But before you have your last Ascendancy, you definitely want to get flasks with remove bleed, remove freeze, and remove curses. So if you have 3 magic flasks, that's great, or use 2 magic flasks and the corrupted blood on this. So it's up to you what you do, but those are things you need. I don't think I'm missing anything else. The Ascendancy is still going to be Alira, unless I have really good resists, then I will respec this to 2 passive points. That's pretty much my thing with Alira. If you need the resist, you just stay with Alira, because she also gets crit multi late game, but if you have the resists and the mana is pretty much whatever at that point, it's just 2 points for 20 crit multi, which is not really worth late game. So once you don't need the resist, you should respec this to 2 passive points. That's pretty much goes for all the builds I play, so I'll just dip there. So that's it. I want to quickly talk about our Atlas strategy, since again this time it's only a 1-week race, so for most people it's probably not going to be worth to go for 32 watchstones and everything and fill out your Atlas, especially since the race, the goal is just farming levels, like level is what matters. So what we're planning to do, this isn't like fully planned out yet, but this is just a rough thing what we want to do. We want to go for 4 watchstones in Haywark and favorite burial chambers over here, and then we want to also have 4 watchstones in the Glenark and favorite tropical island, which will be our tier 16. Well, once we have 4 watchstones here, so this will be our tier 16 favorited, tier 15 there, and then I will also have 3 watchstones in Turn's End, which if you can see here, tier 13. The only tier 13 I can drop with this setup is Grotto, so we'll have a bunch of Grottos. Now, ideally we only run tier 16 and 15s, but if we ever run out, we can always run tier 13 Grotto. And the way we're gonna do that is my friend, he's gonna have Dear Artane, he's gonna have this with 3 Watchstones in Lyra Arcane, so, and he'll favorite Canyon, so the tier 14s we drop will be Canyon. So we will run the tier 13 Grottos on his Atlas, so then all the tier 20s we run, a lot of them will become tier 14 Canyons, and he will also have 4 Watchstones on Haywork, same as me, with Burials favorited. So once we run the tier 14 Canyons also on his Atlas, we will drop a lot of Burials, and then we can run the Burials on my Atlas again to drop Tropical Islands. So those are the plans for early, so I'll need 11 Watchstones pretty much to do that. But again, this could change a lot. Also the builds we're planning to start with, by Stormrender for example, I don't think I'll rush tier 16 maps. I might just farm tier 10 maps for quite a while to get our gear sorted and stuff like that. So probably give you more updates once the league actually starts with how we go. A couple of tips and tricks, I guess, at the end. Now, the first thing is this is a Mayhem race. People that don't know, early on you can get a lot more gear than you usually do in leagues. Since if one of the early zones has Rogue Exiles in it, or even Strongboxes, but mainly Rogue Exiles, you can farm a lot of leveling uniques very easily. Since there's 20 Exiles in a zone, they drop a lot of, they have a big chance to drop uniques. They also have a lot of rare and magic item drops for rings and stuff like that, so you should be pretty geared, and it's pretty worth it even to just spend quite a bit of time early zones to just get really good gear, leveling gear and stuff, and then just have a way nicer time going through the acts. Also, don't get mad if you die a lot. This is Mayhem, and honestly deaths will happen quite a lot, especially when there's tormented spirits, when a lot of them, like collab trials and stuff like that, if one rare mob has like 10 spirits in it, you will most likely die. So don't get too mad and just enjoy the race, and I'll see you probably tomorrow with an update on how we've been for day 1.